is green. And he points out that the first green is a man. Call him William Green. The second green is a property. He's envious. Okay. Now, alternatively, he might have said, I suppose, that green is the name, the green, is the name of a quadrangle on the university campus. Or of the green meadows along with the River Cam at Cambridge. The green. And maybe in spring somebody's saying green is green. Name of a place. And a sense quality. But this is simply his illustration of the fact that words can name different things. The same word for different things. Ambiguity, confusion arises. Philosophical problems arise from confused use of languages in that way. Now, he goes on, however, we picture facts to ourselves. Yeah. We picture green as green with envy. Or we picture the green at Cambridge as green. I remember walking a lot. It's green, very green, lush, right beside a river. Right after the end of World War II, I was stationed at a base just outside Cambridge. We used to go in there in our days off and wander through the university. All right. We picture facts to ourselves. We do in our minds. We picture facts. A picture, that is to say a mental state, the picture, that mental state, is a model of reality. It's a mental model. Okay. But in the picture, there are elements of the picture that represent objects, things. So then, what we have is things or objects represented by the elements in the picture by which we represent to ourselves the facts. Okay? The mental picture of a fact, which is a state of affairs, the mental picture is made up of elements in the mental picture which are referred to by words corresponding to the things which are the constituents of the states of affairs. So you have to get these correlations. You see Russell's atomic facts atomic statements, atomic propositions corresponding to atomic states of affairs, and the one-to-one correspondence between the elements of one and the elements of the other, all the way through. But in addition to the picture being a mental model, 2141, the picture itself is a state of affairs, a fact. Yes, it's a present state of affairs that I have that picture in my mind. The picture itself is a fact. And there must then be something identical in the picture and what it depicts. In the picture and what it depicts, yes, there must be some correspondence between the two. Okay. The mental picture may be made up of words, but the state of affairs to which it refers is not made up of words. What sort, then, of identity is there between the mental picture and the objective state of affairs? You see? It's not that they're both made up of words. Oh, it's the logical form. We need a logical form to language which can be identical to the logical form of the objective states of affairs. Okay? So then, number 3, a logical picture of facts, you see, is a thought, like a proposition. A proposition expresses a thought that can be perceived by the senses. Yes, because the proposition can be heard, can be read, be it a simple or a complex proposition referring to atomic or molecular facts, as the case may be. So, 2 things about that first segment. You see how he is making use of Russell's logical analysis, logical atomism. That's the first. Second, this is known as Wittgenstein's picture theory of meaning. His picture theory of meaning. Okay? Mental representations, thoughts, are pictures corresponding to states of affairs. Now, if we reflect for a moment on the nature of meaning, okay? Meaning can be simply denotational, what in logic we call the extension, the logical extension of a noun. What is it that it denotes? What are the particulars, one or many, to which it refers, to which it extends? So what he is doing is emphasizing almost completely the denotational meaning, the extensional meaning of language. And inasmuch as the states of affairs seem to be empirical objects, this becomes an empiricist theory of meaning. An empiricist theory of meaning. The antecedent of which is, of course, in John Stuart Mill. What does the word matter refer to empirically? Permanent possibility of sensations. What does the word mind refer to empirically? Permanent possibility of reflections. Empiricist theory of meaning. The theory that was stated by David Hume about all matters of fact statements. Interesting, same word, fact. Fact, you see. What is a fact? A matter of fact, a state of affairs. You see. Well, if you cannot then, according to Hume, translate this philosophical language into the language of empirical facts, matter of fact statements, it's meaningless. You remember at the end of his inquiry, commit it to the flames. Let's have that big book burning of meaningless metaphysical twaddle. So what you get in Wittgenstein then is the empiricist theory of meaning, same as in Hume, same as in Mill, translated into Russell's language of logical atomism and reasserted in the early Wittgenstein. And it's precisely this empiricist theory of meaning which in the logical positivism of Ayer comes out as the verifiability principle that I wrote down there, the verifiability principle of meaning. You ought to be reading Ayer now. Some of you may have started. The first chapter of Ayer's Language, Truth and Logic is entitled The Elimination of Metaphysics. On what basis? The empiricist theory of meaning. The empiricist theory of meaning. Thanks to Russell and some continental equivalents, Wittgenstein, you see, and the tradition of Mill and David Hume, the elimination of metaphysics. The anti-metaphysical strain of 19th century empiricism recurring in 20th century positivism. Okay, does that much come through clearly? Okay, the picture theory of meaning. All right, run through the second half with me. Signs and symbols. Now, maybe you've been accustomed to using the two interchangeably. He doesn't. And many semanticists do not. A word is a sign. Okay, a word is a sign. One and the same sign can be common to two different symbols. Yes, you see, the word can symbolize, the word can be used to symbolize different things. The word green, that sound, can be used to symbolize Bill Green, and I didn't make up the name Bill Green, there happens to be a Bill Green I know, you see. It can symbolize the green. It can be used to symbolize that state of affairs called envy. And of course it can be used to symbolize color. So one and the same sign can be common to various different symbols. In this way, the most fundamental confusions are easily produced, and philosophy, he says in parenthesis, is full of them. Yeah. When we get a little bit further, we'll be coming to the mind-body problem. And his book on the concept of mind, in which he suggests that it's simply by means of misunderstanding about the logic of language that the word mind has come to be used to refer to an entity, an immaterial part of a human being. Whereas the logic of language properly understood is such that mind refers simply to certain brain functions. So in this way, then, confusions are easily produced. Now, to avoid such errors, we mustn't use the same sign for different symbols. That's obvious. What we need is a sign language that is governed by logical syntax. Russell's ideal language, yes. What we need to do philosophy with precision is symbolic logic. You'll see, and it was this sort of thing which stirred the symbolic logic industry as it has become. And then 403, most propositions and questions found in philosophical works are not false, they're just nonsensical. They have no sense, no meaning, you see. What he means by sense is the referent of a word. The word green can refer to various things. So a nonsensical use of language is the use of language that has no empirical referent. So when in logical positivism you find it stated that metaphysics, metaphysical language is nonsensical, okay, or anything which doesn't pass approval but the verifiability criterion of meaning is nonsensical, you're saying it has no referent.